The great thing about this research for this particular period is that, first of all, it's a recognizable period. Everybody knows the Great Depression. Everybody knows to some degree that even the Dust Bowl. And as far as Bonnie and Clyde goes, there's plenty of primary research. One of the wonderful things about them was that they were really peacocks. Clyde basically made it mandatory that his gang, per se, was always photographed. And when they were photographed in suits. They were photographed and dressed up. He'd even dress his parents up for these photographs that they found in one of the cars after a getaway. So there's plenty of research towards that, and to that end, they're kind of sparkling against this general Dust Bowl background. And Ivan has referenced that in the script too, that they're the only living things in this kind of wasteland, essentially. So we're able to kind of work into this production kind of the lowest of the low, and to some degree the highest of the high, and just run the whole pantheon of styles and whatnot. And so as far as researching went, the other thing about the researching is that we wanted it to be very real. We're not trying to pull any punches necessarily. And while we want to be accurate with the research as far as Bonnie and Clyde go, we also don't want to be slavish to it, because just because it shows up in certain pictures doesn't mean, and certain aficionados of Bonnie and Clyde who would really know what they're wearing, sometimes they'll be happy with what we did, sometimes they might be horrified, but the point is we wanted it to be appropriate. We also wanted it to be theatrical and work on stage to our purposes and the way we're telling the story. This is a piece in process for Emma, who's Bonnie's mother. And again, what we're trying to do here is get a good balance of what would the reality be, but then also what's appropriate to good storytelling on stage and what will read well from row Q. Just because you see it in the research doesn't mean it's necessarily right for the stage. So we began with actual research of Bonnie with her mother, these famed photographs that they have, and something that her mother was wearing. We then turn that into a sketch, usually, and kind of alter the proportions based on what we want, and kind of making sense out of the lines and the structure, and making it work for the actress or actor involved in this particular role. I usually then follow up with swatching. I don't usually paint the sketches until after I know what fabrics we want to use, and again, what seems dramatic enough for the stage. This in turn has been generated. Usually there's a muslin mock-up that'll be made. This is not for the same dress, but we basically make a prototype that gets put onto the actor, and we're able to nip it, tuck it, and find out how it fits and whether we like it, and change some of the detailing. And then ultimately we end up with the garment kind of nearing a certain degree of completion. In this case, one of the fabrics that we really liked for the show was this kind of raw silk that has some brown woven into it, because even though we want the color, it's nice that it has this brown running through it. Frequently the show has brown running through it. That seems to be one of the through lines, because again, it is the Dust Bowl, and everything should feel a little wilted, a little bit tired, and just feeling the strain of a depressed economy in every level. Even this dress, which is being used for Bonnie, you can't necessarily see it from a distance, but up close, if you look at the threads, it's brown running one way and this bright fuchsia running the other. But again, from row Q, how will this read? And hopefully everything's just a little subdued, flattering but subdued, to take into account the period. It's been a luxury working with Jeff Calhoun and being able to design both sets and costumes for productions. It's almost become a habit that that's how we work, and it just allows the right hand to know what the left hand's doing. For example, if I'm putting down a deck for this show, we have a plank floor, and the plank has certain gaps between it. And I can say as a set designer this works, but as the costume designer, well, we have women in heels that can navigate that. And so frequently it helps keep everything cohesive. It helps work out issues and problems beforehand, but it also allows you to keep everything kind of in the same world, the same palette, so that hopefully it'll be seamless. Somewhat more about the process, and the great thing about working with Jeff Calhoun is that he's very playful. He loves any ideas on the table, and so we get started very early kicking around ideas, and so you can put on the hat that says I'm the costume designer, and put on the hat that says I'm the set designer, and sometimes he'll put on those hats, but in the beginning it's just about what's going to tell the story the best. Half the design is the fluidity and how this thing moves and allows you to go gracefully from one moment to the next without bringing the show to a screeching halt, just so that you can move scenery. And that's one part design, one part directing as well, to make those things tie together. Consequently, we were looking for surfaces and textures appropriate to the Dust Bowl that would work to our ends. And when you look at all these pictures, you see kind of this windswept and sandblasted woods from just kind of sitting out on the prairie, essentially. And that's what we ran with, because that's a texture that could read as a barn, is something that could read as outdoors, is something that could also ostensibly read as indoors. All these not level playing surfaces help to maybe tell the story that we're outdoors. Of course, lighting by our lighting designer, Michael Gilliam, will certainly help tell the story of being outdoors as well. But hopefully it functions as a space that, that could be either indoors or outdoors.